Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into something pretty heated right now.
Oh, yeah.
The battle for AI dominance in China. It's really intensifying.
Absolutely. The competition there is fierce.
And you shared some great source material laying out the players, the battlegrounds. That's what we're going to unpack.
Sounds good.
We already know China's tech giants go hard against each other, right? But AI, it feels like a whole new level.
It really does. You've got the old guard, Baidu, Alibaba, Tencent, the BT companies.
Right.
But now they're facing serious heat from newer players, too. ByteDance, Huawei, even Meituan and Pinduoduo are in the mix.
So many players.
And looking at the sources, what's really interesting isn't just like picking a winner. No, it's more about understanding the strategies, how they're using what they already have, and what that means for AI's future there, maybe even globally.
Okay, so the material breaks it down. 3 layers.
Yeah, makes it easier to grasp. You've got the base layer, cloud infrastructure,
Foundations.
then the AI models themselves, the sort of brains,
Okay.
and finally applications. That's the bit we actually see and use.
Got it. Okay, let's start with that base layer then. Cloud infrastructure. The engine room.
Exactly. All the computing power to storage, everything needed for this massive AI stuff.
And the scale is just, wow. We saw that Morgan Stanley number predicting Chinese cloud sales over $50 billion this year.
Yeah, $50 billion. And heading towards, what was it, nearly $80 billion by 2027.
Incredible. And AI is driving a lot of that.
A huge chunk of it. Now, Alibaba Cloud, they've been the leader for ages, still growing well, about 18% in Q1.
Solid.
But yeah, the sources make it clear rivals are definitely gaining ground.
That Baidu figure,
Yeah.
that really jumped out. 42% cloud growth in Q1.
I know, that was significantly more than analysts expected.
What does that tell you?
Well, it shows how dynamic it is. Even if Baidu isn't seen as dominant elsewhere, they're really riding this AI wave for their infrastructure business.
Makes sense.
And it's not just the old BAT companies. ByteDance. They've got Volcano Engine. Been pushing that hard since 2020.
Right, the TikTok parent company.
Yeah. Now, Huawei's playing smart, too, focusing on state-owned enterprises, building up a big base there.
Interesting strategy.
So, okay, moving up from the pipes, the infrastructure, we get to the AI models, the algorithms.
A core tech.
And naturally, these cloud providers, they're all building their own models and helps pull customers onto their cloud platform, right?
Makes sense. But wasn't there that point about DeepSeek?
Ah, yeah, the startup.
Making some really advanced models, but free.
Exactly. That throws a wrench in the works, doesn't it?
Kind of complicates things. If the core model is free, how do the big guys differentiate?
Well, that's the challenge. They have to add value around the model. Integration, ease of use, or specializing it.
Like Baidu, you mentioned them focusing on a multimodal system.
Right. Combining, say, language and vision models.
Yeah.
And they're targeting robotics companies specifically, finding a niche.
Tailoring the tech.
Okay. So that leads us to the top layer, the one most people interact with, applications.
Where the AI actually does stuff for us.
Yeah. And this is where the strategies really, really diverge. It tends heavily on where each company started.
Okay, so who's got the edge here? Tencent.
Tencent's position looks incredibly strong, mainly because of WeChat.
The scale is just mind-boggling. 1.4 billion users.
Exactly. And millions of those mini apps already living inside WeChat. It's a whole ecosystem.
So the sources said they're putting AI features right into WeChat. Like search, image stuff.
Yep. Using their own models, but also models from DeepSeek that start up.
Interesting, they're using external models too.
And they seem to be pushing towards these agentic services.
Agentic, like AI doing tasks for you.
Yeah, semi-autonomously, making a purchase after you chat about it, that kind of thing.
Wow.
And Tencent's big bet, according to the article, is that even if the AI services look similar elsewhere...
Their huge built-in WeChat user base gives them an advantage.
Precisely. That deep integration is hard to beat.
Okay, what about Alibaba then? Their strength must be e-commerce.
Absolutely. Think about all that data from their marketplaces, what people buy, browse, click on.
It's a goldmine for training AI.
Totally. Perfect for fine-tuning product recommendations, making ads way more effective. Their AI play is deeply tied to boosting that core retail business.
Makes sense. Now, Baidu. The analysis you shared suggested they're in a bit of a tougher spot here on consumer apps.
Yeah, specifically on the consumer application side, they don't have that single giant super app like WeChat or the massive e-commerce platform like Alibaba.
And the source mentioned their chatbot, Ernie.
Yeah.
It's actually hurting their main search business.
Cannibalizing was the word used. Yeah, you see it in the numbers, too.
Oh,
Tencent's ad revenue up 20% in Q1. Baidu's actually fell 6%.
Ouch.
Though the AI integration is happening in search. A third of Baidu's search results in April were apparently from generative AI, up from 20% earlier.
So it's changing search, just maybe not helping the traditional ad model yet.
Exactly. It's a shift.
But it's not all bad for Baidu's applications, right?
Right.
The source mentioned driverless taxis.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one for them. They have a large fleet of autonomous taxis using their tech. That's a very real, tangible AI application.
Right, outside the usual app space.
So looking at these layers, you really see how AI isn't just like an add-on feature. It could genuinely shake up who's on top.
Potentially erode that B8 dominance we've known for years.
That was definitely a key point in the source material.
Yeah, because you've got others stepping up, like Pinduoduo, challenging Alibaba hard in e-commerce, now building their own AI.
Right. And Meituan started with food delivery. Now it's this huge super app also developing AI models.
And Huawei, with all their phones and devices out there.
Huge potential user base for them to target with AI services. Lots of challengers.
But the biggest threat. The source singled out ByteDance, didn't it?
It did. Potentially the most significant challenger to the established players.
And the reasons, well, they make sense. All that data from TikTok, viewing habits, and now shopping data too as they push into e-commerce.
Massive amounts of data. Perfect for training AI.
But there was another key advantage mentioned. Something unique.
Ah, yes. Their international presence. That's critical.
Why is that so important?
Well, unlike most of the other Chinese tech giants, being global gives ByteDance exposure to worldwide AI trends, better access to global talent.
And crucially,
more reliable access to those high-end semiconductors, the chips you absolutely need for advanced AI. That's a huge bottleneck for others.
Got it. That makes ByteDance a really interesting player to watch.
Definitely. So, as the source aptly puts it, the battle over Chinese AI is just beginning.
Yeah, feels like early days still.
Very much so.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what we've seen in this deep dive is this incredibly fierce, multi-layered competition in China's AI scene.
Right, from the cloud foundations through the core models up to the apps we use.
And you've got the established giants trying to leverage their strengths, adapt.
While these dynamic newcomers are really shaking things up using their own unique advantages.
It's creating this environment of, what did the source call it? Furious innovation.
Furious innovation.
Yeah.
It's reshaping tech in China super fast.
Yeah.
And that's bound to have ripples, globally.
So considering all this, the different players, the strategies tied to their core businesses, the advantages, the challenges, what does this mean for you listening in? What stands out to you from this dive?
Well, here's something to think about, maybe a provocative thought based on what we discussed. How might these very different starting points and strategies, Tencent's social focus, Alibaba's e-commerce data, Baidu's search and AV tech, ByteDance's global content reach, how might that lead to really different AI experiences for users? Will AI feel fundamentally different depending on which company's ecosystem you spend most of your time in? It's something to watch as this battle continues to unfold.